Well, what a week it's been. Hornby have announced the new 2026 TT120 range launch. Now, it did happen on Tuesday. I haven't done a video to cover that because Tuesday I was on nights at work, so I've just not had time. Today's the first day I've had spare to do a video, so I'm going to concentrate more on what I'm going to get from the range for my layout. As you know, St Aveley is primarily an Era 3 layout. That is, it's set during the 1930s in the golden age of steam when LMS and LNER ruled the railways around the area where I live. So let's look into first what came out for LMS. And the number one item announced by Hornby was the number one item that I've been waiting for, and that is the LMS Black 5. Now, a lot say what's so special about this loco. It was a very popular loco. There was 890 odd built over the time, and they went from the 1930s and survived right up to the final days of steam. They were used extensively around the area where I live on the Midlands main line, and it would complement the Princess Coronations that I've got running on the layout fantastically. It's mixed traffic. I can put freight and passenger on it and it won't look out of place. Bit of a strange one next because they've put LMS on the side of a Great Western van, and it's a copy of what they did for the LNER. One or two people are complaining about it. I don't think it looks out of place, so I've ordered a couple for the layout. Next up, I think Hornby's learnt the lesson of the first release of the 7 planks, as in they sold out very quickly, and they've got another run going with 3 more private owner liveries on these. These were carrying coal and various other things, and my layout has a pit in the middle of it because there was a lot of mining around this area, so I have a lot of these 7 plank wagons. So these will again be another nice addition to the layout. And the one disappointment from the announcement was the lack of an LMS brake van. I can't complain too much. I've got lots of stuff that I wanted, but it would have been nice. We've got a freight loco, we've got LMS freight wagons, we haven't got a brake wagon. I'm going to have a word with Hornby at Key Model World, find out if one's due, might be announced later in the year. They might tell me, they might not. We'll see what happens. So looking back at the graphic I did from earlier on in the year, and basically the things I've wanted on the LMS side of things, I've managed to get a Black 5. That is the number one thing I was after. I'm happy. Everything else is just a bonus. Now on to the other era I cover, which is the era 7 and 8 for British Rail. So this is British Rail from the 1970s, 1980s, up to privatisation towards the end of the 90s. Now this next loco was on the BR wish list that I did earlier on last year, and it's the Class 31 in the traditional BR blue logo. Bit of a sentimental one this, because I did have this as a kid on my 00 layout, and I've still got the Airfix model of it, and it still runs. I got it on a test track last year. A bit noisy, but it still runs. So to get this in TT120 for me is a big thumbs up, and it's a big win. So my next choice for the layout was this Class 31 rail freight with the red stripe. I think it'll go well on the goods line. I've got the red hopper coal wagons that were used in the 80s. I think it'll look well with that. So here's a model I didn't know I wanted. It was the Class 37 in the Intercity Swallow livery. It's going to go well with the HST I've got, which is in the Swallow livery. And I've got a nice selection of Mark II coaches in the same sort of livery as well to go with it. I think that'll look great when I do my late 80s, early 90s running sessions. Another thing on my list I wanted was some early BR Mark 1 coaches, and Hornby have not disappointed. They've released a composite and a second class brake. It sounds like they might be releasing other versions later on in the year. We'll have to wait and see, but they're going to look well with the Class 31, and they can mix in with Mark 2 coaches as well. Announced on April the 1st, so a few weeks ago now, was the Class 37 Coalfield train set. So you get the Class 37 with the sectorisation coal sector livery. You get 3 hopper wagons with it. They're also releasing a pack of 3 separate hopper wagons as well as a single one. So you should make a nice rake of coal wagons, which was used on the merry-go-rounds from the pits to the power stations. Next thing I've ordered is these rail freight HEA wagons. They'll go well with the Class 31 with the red stripe, and they'll look great on the freight side of the layout. Finally, I pre-ordered some more of the KFA container wagons. They'll go well with the 80s, 90s era type freight. They can even be used on modern day with the Class 66s. Can never have too many container wagons. So again, looking back at the BR check sheet that I did of the items I'm wanting, I've got quite a few ticked off on that, so I'm more than happy. Overall, I think it's been a really good announcement that they've done. There's lots of other items not mentioned here. I think Peachy said there was 95 separate items announced when you count all the individual things with all the new liveries and all the different numbers. So it's been a substantial announcement by Hornby, and it sounds like there's more to come later on in the year. So pop a comment down below. How did you find the announcements? What sort of things have you ordered for your layout? And what are you wanting to see announced later in the year? If any of you guys are at Key Model World this weekend, I'm going to be there on the Saturday and Sunday, so I might see you around. Bye.